pay attention.
It starts here.
Now that we're all prepared, let's start the show.
The conversation is about to get louder. You're listening to Miggs and Swig. Don Miggs, Ben Swig, and JoJo. From music to marriage, from politics to parenting, from dating to deep thoughts and sports. Get ready for Miggs and Swig. Life out loud.
Let's get the show on the road.
That's right, baby. It feels so good.
You tuning into
So glad y'all are back.
the Saturday
Grooving
morning.
and
Roland deciding to show up. Hey, everybody,
Hey,
Miggs and
welcome.
Swig. We're
Welcome.
back and raring to go.
let me tell you, that was my gift to you guys. Jamie and I worked on the side to get you that song.
Oh.
That was
So,
beautiful.
because this is the first time in 2 months,
Almost
maybe?
three.
Almost three that
Yeah.
we have been together. You
Well,
guys have been
when
living.
you say been together, you don't mean biblically. You
No,
just
not
mean
biblically.
sort of been together. Like
You guys have been living on the best coast, the West Coast in L.A., and
didn't
we
say
haven't
that,
been in the
Tampa.
studio since late May, I think.
But
Yeah.
now I have
Yeah.
a light in the way.
I know.
Actually, I could
I
see
can
you
move it.
better when we're on Skype and
Are we
we're in
better?
different
Are we better now?
states. Now I can see you.
All right.
So I'm most excited to have JoJo and Ben, and then we got Jamie and Roland just shows up. What a show we've got for you today. This
Hey,
morning.
Technically, it wasn't late. I mean, we walked in at 10. It was still 10 o'clock.
Well, the
the,
phone-
the show had
Oh,
started.
he gets a pass when he's here right on time, but I'm here at 9:35 instead of 9:30, and I get castrated for it.
Can you get castrated?
You've already been castrated.
Well, you know what I mean.
You were castrated by what do they call natural selection?
Yeah. You know what I mean.
We do know what you
I
mean.
get yelled at.
How does it feel to be back? Now you go from L.A. weather, right, which is obviously Southern California, the sun is shining, beautiful, to what we have here,
Which is the sun is swampy.
which is sun is shining. It's just the air is very thick and heavy.
It is.
Is it when you walk off that plane? I mean, when you walk off that plane for being away for 4 days, and you walk off the runway or the tarmac into the what do they call that thing? Whatever.
Yeah.
But you get hit with that wave.
Yeah.
But you were out there for 3 months, so your body
Changes a little.
adjusts. Is it any different coming back from a 3-month vacation or 3-month hiatus from a 4-day
Joe, what do
little
you
trip?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I like it. Like, I like my skin loves the humidity. It's so dry in LA that it's not good on my hair and my skin.
Yeah, but I don't like that initial feeling, like when the plane opens and you're like,
Oh yeah, you can't breathe.
it's horrible.
Yeah.
Or in the morning, see,
Yeah.
we're in our house. We leave the house at 68 degrees, pretty much. Like at night, we leave it at 68 because
68.
that's how you should sleep. You should
Really?
sleep- Our bedrooms are at 68 degrees.
Oh.
It's a bunker. It's beautiful.
I
it's
bet
cold.
your electric bill is pretty low.
Yeah, it's low. But when you think you're in there, you have a sweatshirt on like I did this morning, and then you step outside and it's like a cruel joke every day.
Smacks you in the
Let me
face.
tell you,
Yep.
I went out and played golf yesterday, and we teed off in the morning, and the flags were not moving at all. They were just limp. And we were walking the course, and I couldn't even explain to you how hot it was without just a little wind. Because if you're out there,
Right.
there's a little wind.
Wait, what time was this?
And, we teed off at 8:30 in the morning.
Because I played tennis at 9:30, and I was by 9:45. I was just a sweat bucket.
Because there was no
Dying.
there was no wind. I mean, it's
Nothing.
just like sitting literally in a steam bath
Yeah,
at the
it's
gym.
stagnant.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
and it was so. But of course, like Tampa weather, by the 12th hole, the horns had rung. The weather horns at the club, meaning there was
A
electricity.
hurricane coming.
There was electricity within 9 miles, and they
Just
pull,
for 4 minutes and only on the right side of the street.
exactly.
Yeah.
So they pull everybody off if the horn goes off, and the wind was probably blowing at 40 miles per hour.
So you
See,
felt
I
good.
missed all that.
You-
I was in the studio, came out, but I went in and it was like, it was hot enough to, like, you thought you were
Yeah.
in the rain. I came out and everything was like wet, and I didn't even ask a question. I didn't even occur to me to think about. Went back in the studio, came back out, it was completely dry.
Yeah.
The sun, there was no rain that was on the ground then. And I was like, did it rain today? And they're like, yeah, it poured. You didn't hear any of that?
So can we let me go back for a second? Did you play Jake in tennis yesterday?
No.
Okay. So our Don's friend Jake.
Why is he not your friend?
Well,
now?
he's my friend too, but
He's my friend too.
I didn't want to claim him. I didn't want to make
Wait,
you
just tell me, do you
jealous.
hear
He's
this?
actually a really good friend of mine. We've become really close. But
my nose.
you guys have a competition. Just so the listener know, you guys have been playing tennis.
It's not a competition.
But okay, because he had started later than you had, and it didn't have the skill yet that you had. But I had a conversation with
He's
him,
been
and I said,
practicing.
"Look, Jake, Don's going to be on the West Coast for 3 months. He's probably not going to be playing. This is your
Oh,
opportunity."
I've been playing 3 days a week, just so you know.
All right, but I said, "This is your opportunity."
I'm texting him now.
I've said, "This is your opportunity to work." And so when Don shows up and he plays you, Don will be surprised. Like,
So
who
did he
is this
school
guy?
you?
No.
So have you played him yet since you've been back?
No, but
Oh.
let me finish texting him. All
Lord
right,
almighty.
about tennis. Okay, no. I've been playing 3 days a week in
LA.
I've got to tell you though. First of all, I always thought I don't want to really play tennis. You can play tennis like golf until
Forever.
you're 150.
Absolutely.
There in LA, there's this foursome of these men are all 80 and above. Every time I'm there in the morning, they're playing every morning.
Yeah, and they can put the ball in any
It doesn't-
place on the court.
You just can't. You can't make
I
them
would
run
love
too
balls put
far.
on
but-
my
Right.
court.
Right, but they can place it. It's
What?
like people who've been playing golf in their 80s or whatever. They can't hit it very long,
But straight.
But they get straight down the fairway
That's
every
right.
time, and anywhere off the green. If they don't hit the green on the second shot, they get up and down. Their short game's phenomenal. And just like,
And
do
that's all
ten-
really you want. Like in tennis, I just want to be competitive
Yeah.
and be. I don't want to be one of
you
those.
just
where
want to
you're-
keep it in play.
Right. I don't want to be like where you're doing this to hit it over. So I.
Or you don't
working
want to
hard.
make your own force mistakes, right?
That's-
Like get it over the net.
Right.
Let the other person hit it. Let them make a
Right.
mistake. Don't hit it back to them and hit it out of bounds or hit it, into the net. And it's the same with golf. Like, don't make your own mistake
Right.
by blasting one out of bounds. But these older guys who play golf,
They don't get
just hit it
rattled.
straight down the middle. They don't make their own, big
But
mistakes.
remember, Ben, when you were playing.
That's why I play penny slots.
penny slots.
Because then I can just sit and play,
and, I
and
can-
not
Well,
you don't lose.
I have a funny
drinking.
story about penny slots as you brought that up now. so penny slots are deceiving, right? Because they're penny slots.
right.
But I was in Vegas. That was the last stop of the RV. We talked about it, and there's these games, and one of them's a Game of Thrones,
Oh.
right? And it's an amazing game.
that a
it's
TV
it's
show?
huge. We're going to be talking about it later in the show, but it's huge. It's like bright lights. It plays the music,
I
and
love
it just
it.
attracts you to it,
Yeah.
right? And it's a penny one, but the max credits you play are 500 credits, so 500 pennies. It's $5.
Yeah.
And you don't think of it because you're playing the penny slots. That every time you pull that thing, it maxes
$5 bucks.
Yeah. So it's funny that
It's
people think
deceiving.
penny slots are,
Why, I mean, I don't-
you still can play for a penny.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I play for more than a penny, but
Right,
I just
maybe-
like
But I
it to
use
last a
13
little bit
cents.
longer.
maybe 13 cents.
I
But
played for a long time.
but I sat there at the Game of Thrones every time and I won some money on it. It was fun.
$13.
$13.
See those games. I don't have any interest in any of those things.
I'm
Those
excited. We're
games.
actually getting ready to go to the Bahamas for my parents' 40th anniversary.
Wow.
I know. And we always try to find places where we can go and gamble because we all like to sit and play. But we'll do that, like where we can sit.
Are you going to Atlantis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you guys talk when you're playing, or is it like everyone gets to do their own thing and you get to ignore each other, but
It
you're
just
in the same company?
It depends.
I hate it.
Sometimes we go in and we're like cockroaches. We just kind of scatter, and we all go and
There
find
are
our
a lot of you.
find our own machines and just sit and.
Are partners coming? Like,
That's what I was
will
just gonna
Joey-
ask the same
will-
question.
Will Joey bring Maria?
Yeah.
And we'll. Anyways,
Everybody
I hate
goes.
Atlantis.
Who
You
are you
do?
bringing?
Yeah.
Who are you bringing, Joe?
Me, myself, and I.
Unless you meet somebody between now
that's
and
the plan.
yeah,
not.
Atlantis. When you're in Atlantis and you're sitting at if you do table gambling, the dealers are so bad. It's
Oh.
like it's almost like they feel like you almost feel like they want you to lose.
But they do.
They do.
They
Like
all want
they
you to lose.
hate.
Nobody
they,
really
it-
wants you to
almost like
win.
you can feel the hatred that they have towards Americans or
Well,
whatever.
maybe I'll
Oh,
just
towards
give,
him, really?
Oh.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Just went there.
I don't know. Every time I've been there twice, I haven't been there in a while, but I just
Okay,
like
maybe it's gotten better.
hopefully it's
Because
gone.
after a few
but,
drinks, then I'm not nice.
But I like
That's
to
a good
like to
point.
report.
so I'll get kicked out.
I don't drink, and I wasn't very nice at one point because
Ugh.
like I'd gotten
You?
I'd gotten wiped out
Screwed.
I'd gotten wiped out at this one table, and it was like the dealer almost had a smile, like in bad, like I would have 20, and she would draw to a 21, and she grabbed my money so quickly. And almost like with a little smile. And I wasn't being a jerk. Like, I'm not a jerk at a table. I like to actually have interaction with the dealer. And if I lose to a cool dealer who we've had a good conversation,
Sure.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But this one, like, you could tell that she was, like, hoping.
Bitter.
Whatever.
Hasn't gotten laid. Just
Whatever.
a bitter,
Well,
bitter woman.
Whatever. And enjoy your $14 orange juices, too, at Atlantis.
So I do want to just. I'm
It's
looking at
so
Roland.
expensive.
I'm looking again at Roland, who showed up late. But Roland, I met his wife.
I know.
I did,
the other
I
night.
did, too.
She was very
Shocking.
kind. And
Shocking what you're able to pull in.
I put my hand on her neck just to make sure there was a heartbeat. She was alive.
all of you.
and that
it is
her-
shocking your wives.
Her eyes weren't, like, glossy. She hadn't been hypnotized. It wasn't
No,
like she
no,
was
no,
The
no.
Walking Dead.
She wasn't drugged.
No.
She's a White Walker, but
Yeah.
you know, so he has to deal with that.
So, Roland, you can join the crew of definitely me that I'm probably the president and founder of is the
Wait.
Overkick Your Coverage
Wait a second.
crew.
Yeah.
You should have seen Roland when he met
my
your
God.
wife. When he met Nadia,
You were on air.
First of all, he
Yeah.
couldn't. He wouldn't move away from her. At one point, I thought he was
no,
getting a little
not like
creepy.
that.
Roland, you were constantly like, "Oh my God."
Was it a shock factor?
Yes.
It was a little bit. I turned back around. I was like, whoa.
We're like, oh,
And
this is Nadia.
Just say,
This
"Whoa."
is Nadia. This is Ben's wife.
And
he
he's
was
like,
like, wait, what?
No, I don't think he was creeping. I think he was just like a little shocked. Like,
Ben.
how did Ben?
No.
100%. And
No.
also enamored with her beauty.
Yes, he and her boobies.
And her boobies.
He went
she
beyond.
Looked smoking
She
hot.
looked great,
Yeah.
and she was over the house yesterday. Good kisser, that Nadia.
Yeah, I tell you what.
Good kiss. I'll tell you what. Tell you what. You know, the kids, I had to deal with the kids, but to get a good kiss from Nadia, we hugged it out about 13 times also.
I'm sure you did. Those
like,
boobies.
Did we hug yet, Nadia? She's like, "Girl, did we hug? Think we got enough hugs in."
Speaking of hugs,
Uh-oh.
Oh.
do you have a different hug? Okay, let's say.
I love hugs.
Okay, I know you do. You're a hugger.
I am.
But if there's a guy that you're attracted to,
Yeah.
okay,
There's a different hug.
is there
Yes.
a different hug where you want to sort of, where you either putting your breast a little closer or holding a little different? That some guy where you want to sort of send off. What are the pheromones?
I give a little pelvic thrust.
Is that no? Seriously, is there a different hug where you want to subliminally or subtly tell that guy that, hey,
Yes, I've seen her. I see
I
this
guess
girl.
I
in a
do.
hug.
this was not meant for? Be honest here.
I mean, yes, I think I do like a back rub.
Okay.
You kind of take it down a little lower.
All right.
To,
Which
like,
is
the
a little
small
weird
of the
'cause I
back?
think you've done that on me before.
No, I have not. I've grabbed your butt.
She has
I don't
zero
do
So,
that.
so
interest
there
in
is
you,
a
I
different
can
where
tell you
you're
that.
just trying to throw off a little, something towards that.
Yeah, but I think it's also like an energy thing too. Like if you're into somebody, then there's a different all the way.
So Jamie hasn't felt that hug.
No, actually, when she hugs me, she takes a stick and pushes me away.
Yeah. No, she does this hug, elbows out.
Yeah.
We fist bump.
Yeah. There's
Now-
you're not getting a good gander feel of those.
But I do. I
boobies.
love it.
So-
I hate half-assed anything.
Oh, yeah.
Handshakes, hugs.
Yeah.
Give me a firm handshake, or give me. I hate.
So
that.
if there's a guy that, let's say you're not interested in,
Mhm.
and they go in for a hug.
And I'm like, what's up? High five.
No, do you care that somebody who maybe you've met once before goes in for a hug that you're not really interested in
No.
having that contact? Because you're a hugger? Is that
Yeah.
why?
She hugged someone. There was like, when was it?
I don't know.
No, just
This
recently. There was someone that we ran into, and you're like, "I'm a hugger" or something. I forget who it was. It was in L.A. You had just seen this person, and you didn't really know them. But
Probably
you
never met them before.
Yeah, you went right in for a hug.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Now, when-
Sometimes I'm nice.
Uh-oh.
Now, when you meet another hugger, like Spanish is famously a hugger.
Oh.
Yeah.
How long does those hugs last?
It's a good embrace.
So
Yeah, we embrace for
Does
a
music start?
solid minute.
So
which
Spanish.
is a long time.
Yeah.
So when Spanish and I hug, I hold on to it for a long time, and I call it the awkward man hug.
Yeah.
Right, where I mean,
I've got a picture.
you see, like I've not let go of him for like a minute, and it's what I call it. I do it with a couple people. I call it an awkward man hug. Bring it in for an awkward man, and you sit there and you hug, and they feel so uncomfortable. I don't feel uncomfortable because I'm doing it on purpose. But it lasts a minute. I've probably held on to Spanish for 2 minutes. I go, we're not done
Longer
yet.
than you've ever held on to me.
We're not done yet, Spanish.
I
We're
prefer
not
the
done yet.
hugs over the handshakes.
Yeah.
It's less touching,
Yeah.
actually. I'm
You-
okay
you
with
know
hugs.
what
I'm
you
a
know-
hugger. I'm a
You know what the
kisser.
weirdest thing for guys is that moment where one goes to give like the bro handshake, then the hug, right?
You pull it in, you bring it in.
Right,
No, but you miss one and
right, but one guy goes up, but then you go for the full hug, and he's got his hand out, and it's like it happens more times than not, right?
every time.
Every time, like I'm a guy that will hug a guy and have no problem with it, but usually it's with the bro, like handshake first.
Okay, go on.
And then you go for the hug, and not just a straight hug. Right, so first you give the handshake,
It's
and then
like
you bring it in,
okay.
and like a chest bump, right? You just do that.
Okay.
But the most awkward thing is, and then you see that the person's got both hands out, and they're like, he's going for the handshake first, and they kind of like put their hand out for, they reach their hand out at the last minute. But that's an awkward.
I have a lot of I like a regular handshake first. So sometimes it's like the regular handshake, and then there's all the secret things. and I'm like, wait a minute, are we supposed to pull back
Right.
and then bump
and then explode, and then what are we supposed to do? It's like it's almost like going in for your first kiss, and you guys hit noses or
teeth,
teeth, whatever.
That
all
is
of it.
why I prefer just a straight-on hug.
Don Miggs, what do we got coming up on the show today?
Well, I'm sort of out. I thought we did most of it right then. I did want to talk
We
about
pretty
Mo.
much covered a lot of topics in
I
that
want
first
to talk
segment.
about Mo's show that he did his premiere of movie and video. I want to talk about karma. I want to talk about football season coming up later in the
Fire
show.
up.
So
When are we going to do
excited.
that?
The most
I want people to call in because right now
wonderful
you're the
time of the
expert,
year.
and we're going to need someone else on.
Yeah.
Want to talk? We have our friend Becca King is in. She's going to sing.
Yay.
And then at some point she'll come near a microphone.
Yeah.
And Game of Thrones and Trump and what a week it's been. We weren't going to speak about Trump. Everyone said it's a bad idea. And then he helped us out by just continuing the onslaught of stupidity.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. If you love Trump, thank you for loving Trump.
Uh-huh.
All right. Hey, you're listening to the Miggs and Swig Show. We'll be back with much, much more after these words.
Can we still be friends? Doesn't have to end. And if it ends, can we be friends?
Can we turn this song off? Oh, you like it a little bit.
Who is that?
It's New Bieber.
It is the new Bieber.
New Bieber. It's good.
All right. If you like that sort of thing. Hey, we just I wanted
you
to.
like it a
You know what
little
I do
bit.
like
I-
it. I've
I-
been doing a lot of writing like that.
I have a great
So-
idea for that song. That we should use that for extreme interrogation techniques for suspected terrorists, where you play,
Jesus.
one of them is they play really loud music
Yeah,
for
we
like
got it.
24 hours. So just play that music on loop for 60 days.
I'd just be having a dance party.
They
Yeah,
will
yeah,
sing.
terrorize me,
They will
baby.
sing like canaries.
I'm pretty sure that's against the Geneva Convention. That's got to be former terror.
You think that's extreme interrogation techniques? Playing loud music?
I think playing Bieber, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, do we give Roland a minute to defend himself for showing up
No, we're
20
good.
minutes late? No.
Oh my God, he wasn't 20 minutes late.
Why were you
point.
so late?
I was downloading other shows. I got here actually early, and then the computer decided to.
You were doing something more important.
Yes.
No, not more
hurts.
important.
That's fine.
Equally.
If you want to call 800-771-1025 just to see if Roland picks up,
Oh, that'll be a good one.
he does. At one every like 6 or 7, he does. Hey, did you enjoy Mo the other night? Hopefully Mo's not listening, so we
Did
can
I
just
enjoy
speak.
Mo or did I enjoy the premiere of the Purgatorist?
I didn't want him to hear me when I say this, but that show was
Terrible.
I wasn't going to say. I was kidding. I loved it. Mo, if you're listening, and I hope you are, anyone who didn't see it's the Purgatory?
Purgatorist.
Purgatorist by Mo Jovan.
Maurice Jovan.
Maurice Jovan.
Right.
It-
It was pretty great.
It was pretty impressive, and just the thing is, I joined Mo on Wednesday nights now for an hour for the BDRS, and I was just saying.
I guess he didn't want me anymore.
No, he didn't. He didn't have you.
Just
Didn't
the
even ask me.
talents that he has. Usually people are sort of when you're artistic,
One-dimensional. You do one thing well.
Like you do music, but
And I'm very, very, very handsome.
but Mo is very good at a lot of things.
He
You know-
is.
It's
He's
like
a Renaissance
man.
man.
Exactly. I mean, he poetry. Even the script. He had given me the script before, and the poetry in the script and the language and the back and forth was very, very.
Right.
The whole part about the record. I mean, I don't want to give away. We could do it because it's only 10 minutes long. But how interesting how it's fully self-contained. Meaning that there was a beginning, a middle, and an end to it, in only 10 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
So, full-length feature obviously has the same components, but this one had
Right.
a beginning, middle, and end, and it was only 10 minutes. But
well,
then
more than that, Ben, is that the passion that he puts into it, like even when he's on air. I mean,
Yeah.
and I'm not going to sit here and stroke Mo for an hour, but
I would hope not.
He's a good dude that he is concerned with putting out goodness,
Yeah.
whatever that goodness is. Now, that doesn't mean he can't be a jerk, whatever those things are, but
Yeah.
he wants to put a great foot forward. That was worth, to me, more than what he did. The video was great. He didn't
yes.
bust
And we
through.
were talking up until the point, even up until when the doors opened, and he was worried, I guess, that nobody was going to show up. But the type of person that Mo is, he's been very generous with us as far as from day one when we moved to Saturdays. He came in early. He always holds us over. He always, includes us in the show if we want.
Right.
And he does that with a lot of people, and he brings a lot of people into the studio who don't pay, to promote whatever they have to promote. And if you put that kind of stuff back out in the universe, and it gets into your into what you want to talk about, but it's not surprising that all these people show up, right?
Of course.
It's not. If you're a jerk, if Mo were a jerk and treated people poorly, then people might not show up.
Well-
but they're showing up not because they wanted to make Mo feel better, because Mo has impacted their lives.
Because Mo
and
makes
so-
them feel better.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And that means a lot. Like I said to him, it doesn't matter. The success of this thing, it's irrelevant if it's even good.
I told him the same thing. I said, regardless of what comes from tonight and the film and the whatever, you did it.
You got it done.
You put it out there.
You made a movie.
Mm-hmm.
You made a music video. You had this premiere.
Wrote a book.
I mean,
got it published. I mean, so
but like you did
He's
it.
already won. Right.
Here's the thing, and it's a little different situation because, but your sister-in-law Tiffany, wanted to become a director and do a movie. She did that.
Yeah.
And then she decided she didn't want to do that, so she went into book writing and has written 2 very successful novels.
She has a third coming out
and
soon.
there's some people who are good at one thing, like let's just say writing books, but they will never get a book published. Or they're a screenwriter who wants to be direct a film who will never direct a film.
Well, Ben, to go with that, we have an artist in today, Becca King, and she's a songwriter. She was an actress early on. She's only 21, but she writes for a lot of other people, and now she's going to do it for herself. And it's a whole different world. It's anything we do. It's, by the way, us on radio. Like, we're not radio personalities. Like,
Yeah.
how does
I
that?
don't think that takes very long to just discover that fact.
So that doesn't. But and I was going to take us out of that. But JoJo, like, this is a thing that you do really well. Having said that, can you do 10
Anything
other things
else?
well? Like,
No.
it's hard enough to do one
I was
thing
just
great.
having this conversation because I said,
With yourself, or?
No. Well, I have a lot of those, but this was with other people. And just that so many people know what they're supposed to do in life.
Right.
And I never really had that. I just always liked being around people.
Right.
I liked trying new things and learning new things.
well,
and so
Yeah, and I think that
I wasn't like supposed to be a doctor.
and I figured out.
Thank God
I
for
think
that.
the biggest piece of advice I can give, young people who want to get in business
Is
or,
stay
or
on
do-
drugs.
Right, just do a lot
oh
of
my
drugs
God.
or sell them because it's a very good profit margin. but the the thing is that I think, at least from my own experience, I figured out what I wanted to do by figuring out what I didn't want to do.
Ah.
Right.
Yes.
So meaning I've had jobs ranging across the spectrum, and until I found. And then the net result was what I wanted to do was a lot of everything,
Right.
Yeah.
right? Be an entrepreneur, getting a lot involved. But the only way I got to that point was by figuring out what I didn't want to do. I wasn't those people in college who was going to take all
Right.
pre-med courses because I wanted to be a doctor, or poli-sci because I wanted to be a lawyer, or whatever course prerequisite stuff you would. I had no idea what I wanted to be, and I give all the credit to the people in the world who at
See,
15,
I've known
16.
my whole life, and my dad knew that when I was ready to go to college, we didn't have the money really to do it, but my dad said, I will not pay for you to go to college because you are a musician, and that's what you want to do, and that's what you're going to be doing. So pretty.
And you do. And I think that that's an important thing, is to follow that if you know it, but if you don't know it, don't be discouraged
Right,
by it.
because eventually you'll
Keep
figure it out.
going.
Right,
Yeah.
and speaking of not knowing what we're doing. HBO obviously didn't know what the hell they were doing.
Oh my God.
Because they have
Yes.
early released, I guess only in the UK, right? The episode of
It was towards Spain and the Scandinavian areas.
Towards Spain.
towards the
Just
Spain
towards
area.
it.
vicinity.
Wasn't there. It was like happening in that
It
area.
was in Spain, but
So the I guess 7th episode of the season.
6. There's
6.
7 total. This was number 6.
There's only 7 total.
yes.
For this
We're
year,
only
yeah.
2
It
weeks.
was the
in.
penultimate episode, and they screwed it up.
Penultimate.
So they
Ooh.
leaked, which will premiere tomorrow night. The episode. It's getting good.
The last 2 weeks of Game of Thrones have been my favorite 2 weeks, and everyone says, and Jamie and I talked a little bit about this the other night, that everything's happening quickly, but I like that instead of the drag out. The other thing I'm really enjoying is now you're seeing the main characters are getting together. So it's not like Daenerys is it Daenerys? Is I'm saying it
Yes.
right? She's in her world and Jon Snow's in his world. They're all coming into each other's world, which is freaking awesome.
Right, because up until
So-
now, it's been like 7 different storylines.
Right.
Everybody's been doing their own thing, and now it's finally
There's a
to a
culmination.
head.
So
Yes.
this music, the bed that you're playing underneath is obviously the music to Game of Thrones. With the penny slot machine that I was playing for hours, this song played in the background over, and I sat there for so many hours that now I associate that song and I get kind of like jumpy because I want to go play that slot
You get
machine
the
again.
itch.
Wait, Jamie,
But-
did you see the
but
you
can
see
we
the,
talk- go
the
ahead.
YouTube thing where they do all the Game of Thrones characters are with Chris Martin? They're doing songs about themselves.
No.
No,
Oh
I've
my
not seen
God!
that.
All right,
Find it.
We'll put it on our
Find it.
everything's
It's
social media
hysterical.
at Migs and Swig. But I don't know if we could talk about it too much because I don't want to spoil it too much. But there was an interesting thing that happened last week's episode. It was one
Jon Snow
Jon
touching
Snow.
the dragon.
No, but who Jon Snow is related to?
It's more than what you even. I don't know if you know. And by the way, turn off your radio if you don't want to.
If
hear
you
this.
haven't, if you
Oh,
haven't,
please, it's Saturday.
It's
if they didn't
Saturday.
hear, they deserve
but
it.
but some people haven't. So
No,
Jo-
you know who Jon Snow really is.
he's not a bastard.
Snow White's dad.
Who is he
he's
for
the,
real?
He is the I guess his uncle is the Mad King because the Mad King's son had an illegitimate.
Jamie, we're gonna blow
Actually,
his mind. Wait, we're gonna blow your mind now. It's
so
bigger
he-
than that.
he-
You're
he-
wrong.
He's okay. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
His real name is actually John Targaryen.
Right.
He's
That's
the
what- Targaryen.
He's a
only
legit.
That's what-
legit Targaryen.
Right.
He's the only
So
real
he's
heir to the throne.
So he at the bottom. Right. That's what I'm saying.
Drop the mic.
So
Oh
he's
my
not a.
God.
What I mean is bastard. He's not John's or Ned Stone's.
Ned
the
Stark.
Ned Stark's son that everybody thought he was. So he is actually the rightful heir
He's
before
it. Targaryen.
before Daenerys.
Even though there's a good chance after they're done having sex and it's incest again on the show, that's going to come out somewhere.
yeah.
And I
Can
think I know
I-
they're going to do that.
Well, we had a conversation, and I asked Jamie, and I think I asked Joe the question. I don't know if, but is it too obvious? And this is before we found out they were related. But a show that has made a history of not
Being
making things
obvious.
obvious, right?
Who's going to be the one?
Is it too obvious that those two will end up together?
No, they're
You know,
going to have a moment. There will be some sex and then somebody.
But then,
We need to know who we all think is actually going to come. Who's the next to die? Because someone.
well, speaking of no one's safe.
Wait, I want to first know if everyone does have an.
No,
do you-
some character's gonna die.
No, who do you think is the?
I think
who's going to get it at the end?
At the end,
This is for $500. Are we all in?
that's easy because they told us last week Cersei's going to die.
I think Cersei. Yeah. I was
No,
gonna
they
say
told
Cersei.
us because if you go back earlier, I know JoJo loves this. If you go back earlier, she met like 3 or 4 seasons ago because they love to do this. They drop little hints. Is she went
About
to
the
go see
baby.
the witch? She's going to have 3 kids, and that was it. This past week,
She
she's
was
pregnant with
pregnant.
number 4.
Yeah.
Number 4 is never going to make it.
This show
Cersei's gonna
sounds
die.
exhausting.
It could be.
I am exhausted listening to you. I don't ever want you to make fun of me for being passionate about a TV show ever again.
Well,
Well, no,
yours
you
is
can't say
freaking-
it. You're
yours
at
is-
Real
It doesn't
Housewives of
Doesn't
Atlanta.
matter. This isn't real.
It is real. There are
All right,
dragons.
all right. Okay, so here's the thing.
Oh my
here's the thing.
God. You're
If
sweating.
we-
you guys are sweating
if-
talking
well, we're
about it.
sweating.
Okay, but
man.
that's how look at this. If you picked my least favorite genres of TV
would be
shows, and
this.
it would be medieval dragons, sci-fi,
White
a little
Walkers.
sci-fi mixed in with the white, a little. I don't know, sci-fi is
it's not sci-fi,
fantasy.
it's fantasy.
All right. Oh, hey.
All right, probably next
Geek
to,
alert.
probably right next to
My
Western.
fantasy world is very different
Oh,
from
yeah.
this fantasy
Hold on,
world.
hold on,
I'm
finish.
just letting
You're
you know.
right.
that.
Probably
Western.
down from right next to westerns, which is right next to sci-fi, is my least favorite genres. Okay, so as a preface, this show has completely. I'm obsessed, and anybody.
Clearly.
I have not met, and if you are listening, 1-800-771-1025, and you watch Game of Thrones and you haven't and you hate it, give us a call. I want to talk to you because I have
we
never
don't like you.
because
I mean, granted, I'm going to watch it. I'm waiting for it to all be done now so I can just binge watch it. But
Like this conversation.
So the best thing about the show is that nobody's safe, right? And you never know what's going to happen. And speaking of nobody safe, you know what is?
Ooh, look at this kid. He's the king of transitions.
You know what is
today.
even worse than
Then Roland showing up 20 minutes late, 28 minutes late to be exact. Go on.
You know what is also even more not knowing who's safe? The
Our
White House. The White House is the Game of Thrones, the reality Game of Thrones.
it really is.
You never. I mean, each week somebody else is going.
Yeah.
And if you haven't heard, yesterday, Steve Bannon, Breitbart News, and sort of the controversial figure, I guess you could say, in the White House,
And that's not easy to be the
Yeah,
controversial
right.
figure in this
Yeah, when
one.
you're
Right.
the actual devil in the White House, you know you've got some cred.
right, was let go after what some people are calling the worst week of his
Yeah.
presidency, which is he's had some pretty tough weeks, including the flip flop of his statements on Charlottesville, and came out both sides comment on I guess it's Saturday it happened, waited 2 or 3 days, and then did what he's supposed to do, right, and give a presidential speech, because people look to the president no matter who it is. When something like this happens in this country, people look to the president, I think, to give people solace or give people some peace of mind that it's going to be okay.
Yeah, well, you're the leader.
You're the
so
leader.
you need to lead.
And your words matter.
100%.
I mean, look, George Bush, for example, September 11th, he came out in the Oval Office and gave a speech where he got teary-eyed. I was teary-eyed. I obviously was not a Bush supporter.
He was teary-eyed because he knew it saved his presidency.
but
he moonwalked into that.
But what the
Speech.
president says, I think people again look to that person to unite.
Sure.
And just to say, and not give these undertones, and then not give this, the next 2 days of reversing that statement, into this like, but it just astounds me.
The only thing I'll say in his defense or anyone's defense is that you don't always get it right, and every president missed opportunities to do things the way that the public really needed them to do it. So that's okay. But when you do come out, you need to then be humble, and be really compassionate and get it.
Yeah, and this was the first thing. And there's going to be another thing. I mean, there's in the next 4 years, 3.5 years, there's going to be another. And the question mark was, what's Trump going to be like when something bad happens in this country? Whether it's a terrorist attack, whether it's a mass shooting, whatever it's going to be like. What's he going to be like? Is he going to be a calmer? Is he going to be a uniter? Or is he going to be a divider? And it's clear now the answer to that question is he's going to be a divider.
Yeah.
And are we going to commercial?
That's what that means.
Okay, well, we'll come back. If you want to call in, we'd love to hear. I don't think we're talking too much about the statues. I think that's been talked about all week, and it's sort of over. I think in my mind, what I'm more concerned about is what happens going forward. And so we're going to talk about it coming back. Lines are open, 800-771-1025.
And I do want to say that there's someone that Melissa's on the line to talk about Game of Thrones, that she's already seen it, and I cannot have her on the phone. Unfortunately, Melissa, we love you. Would love to have you on, but there's not a chance in hell you're getting on here.
Just throw her on.
No, we're going to...
I'm just going to tell her. I just wanted to ask Melissa, you there? Well,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm not going to say
Melissa,
anything.
do not say anything. No spoiler.
Say it all, Melissa.
On
Say
a
it all.
scale from 1 to 10, how good is the episode?
Well, without any spoilers, I will let you know there's a moment where you're going to know what's going to happen, and then it's going to hit you the full spectrum of what's going to happen, and it will make you scream, and it's awesome.
Okay, so you're saying that there's going to be something that's happened that's going to put all the puzzle pieces together.
Not all the puzzle pieces, but it is a pivotal moment. Galvin from Mike Calta's show saw it. I got a message back from him, and he was like, "Oh my God, it's amazing."
All right. Well, we can't wait.
Almost as good as the war episode.
Oh wow.
Okay,
All right,
so
well,
Cersei dies. He gets stabbed in the eye with a sword. This is the Mix
come
and
on.
Swig show. We'll be back right after this message.
She's great.
Who is this?
Queens of the Stone Age.
New one?
It's
Wow.
great.
I love that band.
It's great. They did that record with my God, am I right? With Mark Ronson, I think, to try to do something that was a little bit different, a little more.
Well, it definitely sounds different.
It's cool. It's really hip. Hey, speaking of hip music, we are going to have with us today on the show, Becca King will be on. Hello, Becca.
Hello.
So Becca's from, are you from L.A.?
Originally, no.
All right, where are you from?
Colorado.
Do you know how to get near that microphone? All right, good. So you're from Colorado.
Yeah.
And Becca's been doing music since you've been signed since like 17.
Yeah.
She's 21, and
She's an old vet.
She's an
You
old
know.
vet. So she's gonna. You guys heard a little bit of what we just wrote yesterday. We wrote
Yes.
something yesterday, and she's gonna sing
For
it.
me. It was
Yeah,
really
wrote it
nice
for
of you.
JoJo. We're gonna do that in the next hour. So she's gonna be hanging out, and you may hear another voice now and again, but she may also go back to sleep. We were in the middle of talking about Trump, and I think somebody was on air, and they got off air. But where were we, Ben?
We're just talking about the chaos and the parallels between Game of Thrones and the White House, and that nobody's safe. And it's just a question, I think that we've always had. At least the looming question is it planned chaos or is it just chaos, right? I mean, is it Steve Bannon? Because you could look at it two ways, right? You could look at it that Steve Bannon was getting more sort of publicity, and Trump obviously doesn't like when people get bigger than him. We saw it with the mooch.
Right.
But then you also saw the mooch, after he got fired, go out and do sort of – he wasn't in handcuffs anymore as far as what he could say or do against or for the White House. And so Steve Bannon would be a much more powerful ally, I think, on the outside – running Breitbart News than on the inside, where he really only gave like 3 or 4 interviews, and so he could, when he's in the White House, he has to be sort of political, I guess you could say, and as far as
Now he doesn't have to be.
I mean, in the normal sense, I guess, right? But outside, he could really take on some of what he calls the opposition, which includes people that have been in their own party that have been not so great to Trump, vis-a-vis Paul Ryan, Speaker of the House, both majority leaders. So
he can be sort of a silent killer now.
Yeah.
I mean, also though, what Trump is brilliant at is when ratings are down, is finding a way to get them back up, and this seems to the outside, you're like, oh, they're getting, for people who are against Bannon, they're like, oh, good, we're pulling that guy out. Things are going to be better. He looks at everything in terms of, remember, he said how many times about the ratings of his show.
Yeah, or the crowd size.
All of that stuff. So that matters to him. So right now he is trying to figure out how to right this ship in terms of publicity.
Right.
And I feel like all this stuff, even don't be fooled, the whole war thing, there's war all of the time going on. But if he stands up and is like, we're going to do this, he's taken, Bush did the same thing. Bush was basically dead in the water until 9/11.
The thing that that concerns me the most is, and if you're a Trump supporter, I'd love you to call in and try to explain to me, 800-771-1025.
Kindly.
Yeah, and just to, have a good dialogue about it. But I don't think that there's any way that you can say that Trump doesn't call it lie or stretch the truth or false false, what do they call it,
Falsify?
No, alternative facts.
Right.
He throws it out there, and to me that's the most concerning thing, because at times of crisis the president has to have some credibility, right? He has to have some sort of like, that what he says is, the truth. And when he said, oh man, I just lost my thought. About
Come on, alternate facts. Come on now.
Yeah, I'll grab back on that train somewhere. It'll pop back into my head.
That's okay. You could just let it leave the station.
Because it's just dead air. And I think we have a caller who's going to bail me out of this one. But you can't. Oh, talking about that the reason he didn't come out the first time in the statement that he gave on Monday was he wanted to get all the facts right before he says something. Now, if you've even watched Trump
he's never thought before he spoke.
He has a PhD, a master, a doctorate in over speaking.
Yeah.
Okay, he's the king, the president, the whatever, the god of over speaking.
Right.
Like this guy doesn't think for a second before he throws something out there on Twitter. So to say that he wanted all the facts before he made a statement, how can anybody take that seriously?
Right.
Just knowing who he is. And that's not, that's not being a Trump supporter or not a Trump supporter. Those are facts.
So what do you think the reason was? Because I
think he's stuck between. Look, I don't think that Donald Trump is a racist. I think he's more ignorant about race than a racist.
He's a profiler, but he's not a racist.
Exactly. Right. I mean, yeah, you can call it a race, but I think that he has lived in the golden ivory tower his whole life. He was born a trustafarian, so he was born with money.
Yeah.
I just think that, some people, and it is racism, don't get me wrong, but some people just don't know any better about the rhetoric and the rhetoric they use when they speak about race in this country and how much it affects people. So chalk it up, and I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But I don't think that he understands. You call it more ignorance than race.
But as far as right and wrong,
it's still wrong.
But so he knows that.
Yeah.
No.
No. I don't.
No.
Okay.
I
That's what
wonder.
I'm at.
Because there are people, and I
asking.
think in his defense, that's a good point. In his defense, and I'd say this about there are people I know, my wife, so it's like, no, they know. I think some people just don't get it. So they're not being malicious. He doesn't know any better.
And words matter, right? And that's what I was saying. So
especially when you're the leader of the free world.
So when he comes out and says, defending that the people were defending the culture of the
take the URE off the end of it.
Right, but let's talk about culture. I mean, when you talk about Southern culture and Lee, I mean, that is a culture of basically separate but equal, of destroying the black community and anybody who the whites are the better. That's the culture.
Exactly.
The culture of the South during those years, and even today can make, is a culture of racism.
Mm-hmm.
So you even using that word, and that's why the president needs to understand that words matter, and to everybody, but especially when you're president of the United States.
Sandy, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm listening to everything you guys are saying, but the thing that you're not getting is this is the President of the United States. People need to understand this is not Barack Obama, the almighty God, okay? Whatever this man has said from the day he's taken office, because people cannot get over the fact that he is our president. They don't listen and they don't care. The things that are going on in the South, I live in the South. I've been down here for 40 years. People need to try to get along. Let's quit. What are these statues doing? Do these statues come alive at night and hurt people? No, they don't. When you go to a rally, if you know that you are opposed to what's going on there, don't take yourself there. Remove yourself. What were you told as a child? Don't go there. Why put yourself in the middle of it? Let these people talk themselves out.
All right,
but if you don't start respecting the President of the United States, this country is going to burn, and it's going to burn bad.
But so
listen to the lady from Alabama who said yesterday that President Trump should be assassinated.
Oh, that's
never echoed
that's stupid. You're right.
And Sandy, I don't know if you've listened to the show and
all the time.
Okay,
all the time.
And we've always said that we're not those people who say that Donald Trump isn't our president. He's right, wrong, or indifferent. He's our president. He'll be there for 4 years, and we only have one president at a time in this country. But let's just take the statues out of the equation for a second, okay? Let's take let's say it was about bumblebees, all right, or whatever, something bad happened in this country. Do you think the way that he handled the statement and then the restatement and then the restatement was something that the president of the United States was handled in a presidential manner?
Who's to say what's presidential, number one? Who are you basing presidential off from? Number two, every time he says something, 18 people come in and rephrase what he has said.
Right.
You know what? When you put two groups of people together, I don't care who they are. And I think white supremacy should just be evaporated, okay? But when you put two groups of people together, you have troublemakers on both sides.
You're right.
That's why I'm saying.
Okay, so the answer. So hold on. The answer to my question was you think he handled it okay. You think he handled it fine.
I think what he's doing is what people are not used to. He's saying what he thinks. He's not being told this is what it is. Okay, you say what you say and then stand behind it. The problem is everybody nitpicks everything he says.
Like they did with every president, right? So every president, I mean, I think that was the same with every president. So and the job, unfortunately, comes with the nitpicking, and that is
what you sign up for.
That's kind of what everyone.
But the problem is, since Trump has entered office, nobody has cut this man any slack. It's been boohoo since he got there.
I don't agree with that.
But he kind of
up and let him do his
But respectfully,
job.
Sandy, I think he, unfortunately or fortunately, he acts like he does so many things, and I respect the office, but he does so many things that are, forget saying what you mean, he says things that are just wrong, like calling someone a fat pig or doing those things. That's not presidential.
You respect the presidency.
He wasn't the president of the United States when he called Rosie O'Donnell a fat pig.
Okay, it was just an example.
No,
but also what you have to understand,
right.
Sandy, is there were two groups here, and I get what you're saying about putting yourself in that position. One group is going in out of hate to eradicate a group of people. The other ones are going in to try to promote peace and acceptance, and that's what bothers me. You have a
But then
culture.
they need to quit throwing punches because you see, I walk the divided line.
Okay, and you have and the group that's hating on people and wanting to eradicate people for being who they are walking in with guns and all kinds of suits of armor.
You don't think that the other side's not doing it? I walk the line. I'm married to a
Mace
black man
isn't quite
for
the same as an
34 years.
AK-47, but
Right.
Listen, 34 years I'm married to a black man. I am white, okay?
Okay.
For 34 years, I've listened to both sides. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's as bad on one side as it is on the other. People just need to stay. If you don't want to get into the violence, stay out of it because
there shouldn't be violence. That's the whole point.
At that point, she's right.
She's right. She's right. But let me ask you a question, and I want to focus this conversation on Trump, and I just want to make sure that I ask, because this is a good conversation, is that, to avoid violence, right, it is the ultimate goal. And people, like, if you have a right to be a white supremacist in this country. You have a right to be whatever you want and think and say whatever you want, and that's fine.
Yeah, JoJo.
But the problem that I have,
I didn't say they didn't have the right. I just said it's not right.
Is the president's rhetoric doesn't do anything, in my opinion, to calm that violence down. Instead,
neither does all the people that should be standing behind him who only want to please one person, and that's themselves. If this country doesn't join together and become one, I have 5 children.
That's a good statement.
It's a good point. But Sandy,
conflict.
hold on. But Sandy, don't you think that the president of the United States has a key role in doing that by what he says and how he acts?
But the problem is, it's like I keep saying, he can say one thing and 18 different news stations will turn it around and twist it to make it the way they want it to be.
That's what they do with everything and everybody.
Sandy, we really appreciate you calling. We appreciate you
that.
listening, and it's always.
I appreciate you letting me vent. So
Thanks, Sandy.
And we have a couple more callers, like I thought we would, and we're going to go to commercial, and we're going to come back. So if you're on the line, hold. We'll roll this over a little bit.
We have the juice, and then also, I got to tell you, I'm back in town. You know where I'm going next week? I'm literally going to our
Back to-
friends,
oh.
South Tampa Dermatology.
Oh, good.
I just want to make sure that that's out there. And if you're not going to South Tampa Dermatology, then you're an idiot. That's really as simple as that. Because first of all, I have this one little mark on my, where is it? Over here. There's a little bump, and they're going to check it out and see if that is.
I got 2 bumps right here.
If there's an issue.
On my
But
chest.
if you want to go to South Tampa Dermatology, what
Please
is
give them a call. Let them know that Miggs and Swig are sending you. It is 813-872-9551. You can go and check out a plethora of services that they offer at stderm.com.
And they do have they have all sorts of flags there. You can get, they raised the Trump flag, they have the Obama flag, whatever you want.
They
Actually,
like all people.
They like
They don't
everybody.
discriminate.
They'll take anyone in and they'll
They're
check
nonviolent.
you. They're nonviolent.
This is the Miggs and Swig Show. We'll be right back.
All right, everybody.
Pay attention.
It starts here.
Now that we're all prepared, let's start the show. Stop.
The conversation is about to get louder. You're listening to Miggs and Swig. Don Miggs, Ben Swig, and JoJo. From music to marriage, from politics to parenting, from dating to deep thoughts and sports. Get ready for Miggs and Swig. Life out loud.
Let's get the show on the road.
Well, welcome back to the Miggs and Swig Show in the second hour. First hour, you would have missed Game of Thrones spoiler alert, right? Did we tell anything? Did that woman come on and tell anything?
No, she didn't say that.
No, but I did talk to her off air. Tyrion dies. So just letting y'all know that happens tomorrow.
Did not. She said basically that all the puzzle pieces come closer together, I guess.
She said there's a huge oh my god moment coming up tomorrow night.
That's great. I cannot wait.
I hope I have one of those coming up tonight.
And coming up on the show, we still have the juice. We still have Becca King is going to sing a song here in the studio that she and I actually wrote yesterday. She has a great voice. And we were in the middle of, again, Mo had his wonderful debut this week, but we were in the middle of a little bit of Trump talk, and I think Teddy had something else to add. So, Teddy, what have you got for us?
Well, first I'd like to start out by saying hi and juice.
Yeah.
But I think he's doing exactly what he promised he was going to do. And I think when society's so used to doing something a certain way and change comes in, you're going to have this reaction.
Yeah.
You know, who is everybody really to judge when somebody should say something because they're going by what they're used to seeing. And if you notice in a lot of these tapes that they're showing about the statues coming down, you'll notice most of the people destroying the statues are white.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not really the African-American community doing it.
And I agree with you. I mean, who's to say what someone how someone should react to something or what they're feeling about a certain situation, but I think there is a certain level of expectation when you're the president.
Yeah.
I agree.
To really step up and make people feel at ease and not point a finger.
Or not add fuel to the fire. And I guess that's my point, Ted, is that by if he had just stopped at Monday's, I think, statement and not done that ridiculous press conference,
right?
And said, and then tweeted something about the culture. I mean, I think by what he did, he had an opportunity to sort of calm the country down. But instead, racial tensions in this country are so on the edge, tipping point. And what he did by the press conference and the tweets following is just push it over the edge. And then what happens is people get angry, and then they go out and they start ripping down statues in the middle of the night and causing more violence.
That was my point exactly. You're validating my point to the fact that it's the people that I'm talking about that are already bucking the change. They're the only ones that's upset because it didn't go the way they thought it should have went. He didn't say what they thought he should have said. But there's a lot of people that aren't mad about what he says, and they're not necessarily racist. And that, every time somebody doesn't agree with you, oh, you're a racist. No, I just don't agree.
You're
with
right
you.
about that.
All right.
You are right about that.
Thanks for the call, Teddy.
Thanks, Teddy.
Let's get to Scott. Scott wants to comment too. Welcome to the Miggs Swig Show.
Guys, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, as I sit here and I listen to this, it's infuriating sometimes. Can we agree that Antifa is not a good group? That they're really not They don't stand for good things. They're not a tolerant group.
No, I mean, I think that they're extremists on both sides, and I think that they would be categorized in that that side. So the way they handle things, and yeah, I agree. I would agree to that.
So they're a bad group, and Trump calls them out as such, but everyone's upset because they are fighting the good fight against, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
All right, Scott. Well, let me ask, let me throw it back at you. Are there good people in that group walking with them?
I don't know. I would imagine there's probably good people on both sides.
Okay. Well, our president singled out and said there were good people walking with and protesting with the white supremacists.
That is absolutely wrong. What he said is that the white supremacists weren't the only people there. And Antifa weren't the only people there.
No, that's not what he said.
He absolutely did.
All right.
He said there were some good people down there protesting.
That's what I'm saying. There were good people walking among white supremacists. Are there? If you're a white,
not walking amongst them, in the midst of them.
Oh, that's all right.
Okay? Explain the difference. Wait, hold on. I want to know what the difference between walking with them and
if you go down and watch the gay parade. If you go down and watch the gay parade, does that make you gay?
All right, that's a good point. He's making his point is right. It's all in the wording. And here's the problem I have with that is that sometimes you can't give people the benefit of the doubt because he's the president of the United States. Yeah. So
because
I do think I think he should have
change.
stepped out even further. I think he should have made a bolder statement, and he should not have. Like, I think in terms of what he did, he could have handled that better. Would you agree with that?
Yes, I think that he is not, I think he's new at this. I think that he's not quite the wordsmith. And you know what? He's never going to be.
Right.
He's not going to be, you know what? And you talk about how upset and how mad people are. Do you think that we've gotten to this point in 6 months?
No, you're 100% right.
Being politically correct for 8 years is what has led us to where we are today.
You don't think, now, honestly, and I'm just going to have to throw this out because someone said this the other day. You don't think that Obama inherited a poop pile when he got what he got from Bush?
Okay. I did. No, absolutely he did.
Good.
I'm not blaming it all on him, but he just put gas on the fire.
Okay.
The police are dumb. The criminals are good. Not even talking about police being shot. He when he was the person, obviously, that could have pulled this nation closer together as far as racial divide.
Unfortunately, as a black man, he was every turn that he made, no different than what you guys say with Trump. Every turn Obama made, people were going at his knees because what I know about the country, as from what I've seen, I don't know this about the country. That's a wrong statement. A lot of people I know, they have no problem with people that are black or Spanish or anything else as long as they aren't above them. They're okay. They don't mind a black man as long as the black man's below them. And that might not seem, that's probably going to get more phone calls, and I don't mean that I don't want to start trouble, but that to me is the truth. I just saw a flag, and it was the American flag somebody had, and there was a huge picture of Trump on the flag. Now, to me, that would have been, if that would have been Obama on a flag, on an American flag, the uproar would have been amazing. And it's also amazing to me that someone actually put Trump on a flag, which to me is probably not such a good thing. But they had more of a problem with Colin Kaepernick kneeling, not touching a flag.
Yeah.
So I still think that their race is still an important issue, and Trump gets to help that if he says things the right way.
He could help that. Yeah. Thanks for the call. And
Scott.
We're gonna go to one more really quick. Carrie, welcome to Migs and Swig Show.
I just want to make a couple of quick points, hopefully quick if I can.
Yeah, thank you.
Antifa, to start with, they don't schedule rallies independently. In other words, the Trump supporters think it's a coincidence that when Antifa, they only show up at Nazi rallies, at Ku Klux Klan rallies, at the alt-right rallies. That's not a coincidence. In other words, they don't go and do their independent rallies. They show up to fight those people.
Right.
And I would say this: if you're a black or a Jewish person and there's a rally scheduled today, like a block from your house, you would look at those people as heroes. You would hope and pray that somebody's going to show up and protest for you because you're on those signs that the people that are marching are trying to get rid of.
Right.
And let me just say a couple other quick points. Number two, the one lady that said, the press twist Trump's words, we don't get them right. That's partially true, of course, but I don't know if they heard Heather Heyer's mother. She made a point of saying,
I was just going to bring that up. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
didn't hear it secondhand. I didn't read it on Twitter. I saw a video of Trump, and it made me sick, basically, because she equated my daughter, with these Nazis. So that's an important point. And the third point I want to make real quick, I think you're wrong when you say Trump's not a racist and a bigot. You just got to look at his history. I'm not even going to go into them all because I want them to look him up. He had the housing. He refused to rent to black people. He was fined by the federal government. This is way back when.
Yeah, Central Park 5.
With his black, I haven't got to that yet. The black dealer's casino, he had a big thing where the court had to step in for that. And the Central Park 5, after DNA exonerated him, he wanted to put him back in prison.
Yeah, or never apologized.
See,
Right.
this is why
Yeah.
Kerry's the man right here.
Mistakes.
So, Kerry, one thing you said that's really important is that when everyone says about twisting words, and they do, the great thing about what Trump has done is you can look up video of him saying exactly what he says.
I am so glad he spoke Tuesday. Have you noticed, listen, the Trump supporters, I can't understand this. They're all saying, if only he wouldn't have sided with the racist on Tuesday. If only he'd have stopped Monday. Do they realize what they're saying? That's insane. I'm glad he spoke Tuesday, so we saw what's in his heart. But for them to say, and I've heard it, and I heard your caller say it, if only he wouldn't have sided with the racist on Tuesday, everything would have been good. Really? That's just really weird. But anyway, that's all I got to say. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Karen.
Thanks,
Well spoken.
Kerry.
And the other,
Can Kerry come on the show all
yeah,
the time?
yeah.
please?
It's funny because it's
Please.
really in the I think 2 years we've been doing this. There are very few callers that we get. I think of probably only one of maybe two that have actually not been Trump supporters or try to defend.
No, but he's articulate.
But what I want to say too is,
Not that
and
Trump
I
supporters
understand
aren't.
that
I
people
didn't mean
write speeches and there's a team behind the president. But I'm pretty sure that if he wanted to get up there and go off cuff and say whatever he wanted to say, he could.
And he did.
Right.
He
Exactly.
did. And during that,
Exactly right.
there's a picture of Kelly, the new chief of staff, in the background, with his head down.
Lighting himself on fire.
With his head down, just you could tell that
Yeah.
because Trump was just supposed to be there to sign the infrastructure presidential order and have this big thing on infrastructure, and it just went off the rails. And the thing about just the difference between the two groups, and Kerry brought up a good point. For me, it's motive. It's what you're fighting for, right? And I think for me, the KKK, white supremacist, Nazi, whatever you want to call it, is indefensible.
That's
no
what
matter
that's
no,
what I was
no matter
saying.
what your tactic. Now, the other group, yes, can be violent, but their motives and what they're fighting for is a different thing.
violence
It's like
part-
the difference between Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Okay, Malcolm X was more of an aggressor and fight back. Martin Luther King was one of peace, right? But they still had the same motives, and they were fighting the same battle. So there are different ways, and I don't agree with the tactics of that group, but what they're fighting for and what they're trying to stick up for, I believe.
You know what I want to stick up for?
Get some
Juice.
juice.
And I think we should just do that when we get back
Defend the
after
juice.
the break.
We will. We're going to do juice, then we're going to do some
Yes.
Becca King live.
Yes.
And besides that, enjoy your Saturday here on Migs and Swig Show.
I've no reason for the things I fear, the things that plague me when I see and hear. Time's a nickel and a nickel's none. I throw myself into the Sunday sun. A summer Sunday when you've been insane. You said you're going, but I said I can't. I'm throwing oranges
Jamie's got
and
the songs
apples
going.
apart. The ties that bind are tearing me apart. Jenny says,
This is Cowboy Mouth.
Jenny says, turn off the lights. Jenny says,
Cowboy Mouth, yeah.
turn off the video. You beat yourself up to bring yourself down.
Thank you. So I produced their last record, actually. Their last Cowboy Mouth record.
Was
And
it
it's-
this one?
No.
Oh, that's why I like this song, then.
Oh, that hurts. What's really funny is I haven't spoken with the boys in Cowboy Mouth in several months, and Matt, the guitar player, was texting me yesterday, and you're playing it.
Signs everywhere. Signs.
It's karma.
It's Karma Chameleon. Let's get juicy.
Okay. No.
Or no.
Or not.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Talking about the juice with JoJo. Rolling down the screen, searching headlines. Talking about the juice. Here's JoJo.
I want to thank my friends at Clean Juice. Is that were you gonna?
I was gonna make sure.
Yeah.
But by the way, I never knew it. He said rolling down the screen.
Searching headlines.
I thought it could be Roland mans the screen.
No.
Roland Mizell rolls the screen.
I want to thank my friends at Clean Juice, Carrollwood, for their cold pressed juices, which are made on site. They are the first USDA certified organic juice bar in the Tampa Bay area. If you haven't been, please do yourself a favor and get over to see them. Everything is fresh and made to order. Smoothies, protein smoothies, acai bowls. They're open 7 days a week, so you have no excuses. They're located at 13138 North Del Mabry Highway. That's in the Carrollwood Village Shopping Center. Clean Juice, healthy in body, strong in spirit. And they are delicious.
And serving the white supremacists and the Black Lives Matter crowd.
Oh, Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Monday?
Monday.
Do you guys have your glasses?
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Yes, I
For
bought them. Let me
a-
tell
for
you.
a- for
Let
a
me
solar eclipse.
Let me tell you how
Art.
much the glasses cost me. By the way.
Oh shoot, we got to buy glasses.
Yes,
So-
you can't look directly at it.
So Amazon.com. I
Are
got
they the correct
I got a pack of
kind?
4. Yeah, they're UV protect the whole
Okay.
thing, certified, whatever. You know, they're basically. I'd imagine I can't tell the texture or what they're made out of, but they look like 3D glasses that you.
Yes.
Would buy
Wait,
at
what's the
movie.
name of them? What's the name?
Just solar eclipse glasses on
Don't get an
Amazon.
attitude.
Kind of did.
4 pair for $75.
Why?
A 4-pack right
Talk
here for
about-
$44.
Yeah, talk about price gouging.
Why?
Because they can. Because people
But why are
need the
yours?
glasses.
Why are yours more cheaper?
I'm just going to the first thing on Amazon.
Okay,
and
now,
it
but-
says
but here's
Ben's-
the problem.
Those are snazzy.
It says Ben's a sucker.
Okay, now try to order those with your Prime and see when the shipping date is.
Oh, you had to pay for the shipping.
No, you
Oh.
didn't have. But the Prime, it says expect to ship between August. 4 days after the eclipse.
Oh.
So the only pair that I could find that was going to get on time.
Shoot.
And I think it's at
We're
2:18.
Yeah, we're taking the kids out of
So
school early for
yeah,
it.
here in Tampa, and I think we'll get more of a partial.
We
right?
will not
We'll-
get the full.
The full,
one. I think you have to go up to the Pacific Northwest
Yes.
to get the full.
But it's the
total
first time since 1979 that we've had a
No,
full
it's been-
total.
It's been almost a full century.
Oh, really?
Like 1920, early 20s, since this part of the world, the North America has had.
I didn't think it was that long.
Yes.
Wowza. Okay. Well, I still think it's something cool, and I'm excited about it.
Excited
I
for
don't know
you.
why.
Yeah,
I just think it's
but
cool.
look, if you're out there, do not, like your parents told you as a kid, even though the moon will be covering the sun, do not look up.
No.
And do not look. Everybody has an iPhone. Do not take a picture of the thing and look through your iPhone lens.
Even with glasses on?
With glasses on, you're fine.
Oh, okay.
But if you have a camera and a DSLR, like don't point it toward. I mean, unless you're not looking, and I guess you could snap a picture. But the worst thing you can do is look at it. But the worst thing you could do is if you have a camera with a lens on it, is to look through the lens and look at.
Oh, yeah,
So that's the worst thing.
Of the
that's
worst.
Of the worst. The
If you're
worst. Especially if you have a
doing the
super
worst.
zoom on it.
It's like kind of the worst, but not.
Because the super zoom makes it worser.
Are there any good? Do you have any good places? Like I guess where
On our roof.
probably Bayshore would be at that time of day. Bayshore Boulevard would probably be.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping I'll be in your neck of the woods. I'll be.
I don't think that the sun. I mean, I think that it's.
Sun doesn't show
actually
up
went
there.
out at 2:18. It's not on. It's not.
It'll be above though, right?
It'll be.
Because it sets over the
that's true.
water.
Now the interesting thing is.
I'm coming over to your house. I feel like if you're in your backyard, you'll be able.
Here's the X factor, though. What happens about 2 to 4 every day here in Tampa Bay?
All of the rains.
Right?
Yup.
It's rare that you can get a non-cloudy
Yeah.
part of the day or time.
Fingers crossed that it
Yeah.
doesn't, because you won't be able to see it if
Well,
it does.
it will be an
And-
eclipse.
and I'll
It'll
tell you
just be
what,
eclipsed
and
by
Bonnie-
cloud.
and
It's been
Bonnie
on
Tyler-
longer than this.
and Bonnie
than this,
Tyler is singing all day. You can just put on any radio station and you'll be able to hear
This
Total
segment's
Eclipse
lasting
of the
longer
Heart.
than that. The eclipse is actually going to be. I want to hear
Oh,
about
because
juice.
you talk about things that are super entertaining all the time.
It's funny.
I want juice.
My
We
heart has
talked-
been eclipsed forever
See, here
by
we-
this black coat of
Oh, Jesus.
black heart.
See my
We
point?
talked about the Game of Thrones spoiler this week. There may have been another one. David Harbour, who plays Chief Hopper on Stranger Things, he let a big cat out of the bag on Wednesday when he accidentally mentioned that there would be a season 3. I guess he wasn't really supposed to say that, but he was talking about how the kids are growing up and being on set with them and all their hormones is quite entertaining, and that season 2 is great, and it'll be even more interesting in season 3.
Were you a Stranger Things fan? I forget.
I am.
I like
and that was something that I didn't think I would be interested in.
Another genre.
Right. and it was actually really good.
Of course. I mean, was it a shocker that they were going to go to season 3? I mean, it's a pretty successful show.
It is, but I do wonder where it's going to take.
direction.
No different like Orange is the New Black. Kill that show
Done.
already.
I know.
It's
I'll
horrible.
still watch it because I feel like I've invested
Dude,
time.
this year
and
was
stuff.
terrible. It's been terrible.
Because I liked last season.
Last season they actually
better
became
again.
better.
Yeah.
This is the worst. It's so horrible.
Oh, God.
Lisa and I found one good scene so far, and the second to last episode, we have to watch the finale, and I'm like, we are wasting
And then done.
our time.
All right.
My ADD just caught a squirrel. But the other thing, the thing that's really disappointing this year, and I don't know if you guys have watched it, is Ray Donovan.
My brother said it was great.
Well, okay. Well,
let's-
it just they're taking way too. Something happened, and they're taking way too long. It's already the second week.
Yeah.
And it's just a different Ray Donovan. It's not as he's not as badass. He's not. Something happened, but they're just taking way
Love
too.
the sex and violence.
Yeah, and it has been like that, but they're just taking way too long to
Get to it.
get to what happened and how it happened and what happened.
Okay. I haven't started that
Little
yet.
disappointing
I'm so
so far.
behind.
You like?
It's been a big month for Derek Jeter. He got he's part owner of the Marlins.
Yeah, he's a baseball owner.
Which is
pretty great.
And he's going to run the day-to-day baseball operation.
And he just had his first baby.
And he's married to a
And he's
smoking
mocha.
hot chick.
He's with child.
Literally
with the
they
child.
had they welcomed Bella Rain Jeter on Thursday, and
I thought
everybody
it was
seems.
Bella Rain Miggs Cheater. I thought they were getting my name in there somewhere.
Oh
no?
yeah, no.
It's crazy to think that the amount of money that players are making now, that once they leave, they can go buy a sports franchise. And I think he put in $25 million.
But Jeter's different than it has to be. Jeter is one of the elite in sports.
But the other group was kind of funny that it was going after. It was a group that involved Alex Rodriguez,
Right,
and Jeb Bush, but. Michael Jordan was also is part of that group with Jeter, who also.
What's the strategy or reasoning? I don't know that it would be the Marlins versus another team
because they were the ones for sale.
They're available.
They're available for sale, and that
and
owner
like
is,
not for the Rays for. I mean, he's here.
Well, he wasn't here, was he? When he bought the Rays?
Oh, you mean Jeter?
Jeter.
They're not for
sorry.
sale.
Yeah.
They're literally just not for
but
sale.
Isn't everybody for sale?
No, I mean
for the right
no.
amount?
For the problem is the way
I don't know
you
how
have
it
to
works.
get the
I'm very
investors. They have to be in by a certain date.
Okay.
We spoke with them about maybe doing the Jeter thing, and I'm a little perplexed as why it didn't pan out. Like I don't know why we're not in. But
well, it's interesting because today, I think it's $1.2 billion or something that they bought the team for.
So no one buys it outright, really.
Right.
By the way.
There's
those days are
multiple
over.
people.
There's multiple people. There's probably a lead who becomes the managing partner, who is like the boss, and then there's some smaller investors. Smaller meaning $25 million. I think Jordan gave $25 million or whatever. But it's a great opportunity because they have a brand new stadium.
Mm-hmm.
The city of Miami-Dade paid for it.
Oh.
And the ridiculous thing is I don't know the exact number, but Lurie, the current owner, he really should be thrown in jail for what he did to that franchise. But and that city by hijacking them, having them pay to build a stadium, and I think he paid like $20 million for the team or some ridiculously low number, and now selling it for $1.2 billion dollars.
Good luck to Derek and the family.
And congrats to them. Another expecting father is Robin Thicke. He impregnated his girlfriend April Love Geary. She is 22 years old. She is a model.
He's disgusting.
I love it.
He's 40.
He's disgusting.
I love America.
He's disgusting. I think that he's
where else?
I mean.
Plus, he's just kind of a despicable.
I mean, I'm not a fan of his, but I guess
he's got blurred lines.
He's bringing sexy back.
No,
that was
wrong one.
JT.
Don't you dare disgrace that, Mike.
But
and another musician who's being honored is Prince with his own Pantone purple shade.
Yeah, they're a little late.
Why?
He's dead.
They're honoring him.
Okay.
So he's going to have a color named after him?
Yeah, the estate of Prince and the Pantone Color Institute on Monday unveiled a new purple color in honor of the late superstar singer. Love Symbol Number 2 is inspired by Prince's custom-made purple piano.
Do you know exactly what is the Pantone like the organization that defines in like Merriam-Webster.
Pantone Color Institute.
So that's the one who names all the colors.
They're-
Are they the
they're-
Merriam-
JoJo can only tell you one
They're
more
in charge
way.
of making all
so
the colors.
they're the Merriam-Webster of dictionaries.
Who
to
gives you new words. They give you new colors.
Well, good for Prince.
We like all colors.
All colors.
Purple.
I'm colorblind. Doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
true. That's I was. You
So
took
I
it,
don't know
man.
what color that is.
These?
No, those boobs. Smoking. Is that a color?
That's
Oh.
a very little known fact about Don Miggs, that he is colorblind. And what I love to do, I haven't done it in a while, but when I go over to their house, I sneak up to, because he only knows his colors in his closet by how they organize them. So what I do is I go, and they're perfectly, because you can't see, so he's got to know that on the right side they're white.
But they're labeled now, yeah?
So,
yeah, but still.
So what I would do is I'd go into his closet and mix up all his shirts, all the colors, all the stuff, so he had no idea.
Hours of fun.
You're a real sweetheart.
This is what we do here on the Miggs and Swig Show, but now we must take a break. We get back Becca
Very
King.
exciting.
She's been
Rock
doing
and
vocal
roll!
warm-ups and push-ups and stuff. So we get back, we are going to have Becca King sing live, and we're going to
Yes.
have a little conversation with her. That and much, much more on the Miggs and Swig Show.
All right. Welcome back to the Miggs and Swig Show. Sorry, flagship. That was the music that was just being played, but we don't have time to play all the song, or any really of the song for that matter, because we have a lot to do. We only have this last segment, and
Half it's gone.
we do want to bring our friend Mo, who usually comes on the show after ours, but this week threw a little wrinkle and is doing a remote. And so, Mo, what is going on? Where are you going to be? Why should people come?
Allow me to address a couple of things.
Allow me
to
couldn't
introduce
let him just
myself.
come right in and get right to it.
Now, Mo, you did hear that point about this is our last segment, and we have a lot of things going on. So,
I'll be brief.
Dang.
Orange is the new black was never good.
Yeah.
Let me point that out.
Agree.
The first season was okay, and it was all downhill from there.
True.
More importantly, I wanted to address the people that are trying to equate the violence on one side to the violence on the other. There is a little scene, Sylvester Stallone movie called Cobra, where in the opening scene, a psycho maniac was in a grocery store killing people. He goes in as the rogue cop and dispatches justice. As he's coming out, a reporter who has dogged him and his methods says, "Do you think you used excessive force?" To which Sylvester Stallone says, "I used everything I had." When you're fighting Nazis, you use everything you have, because there was a time when we allowed them to walk down the street, and you see what almost happened to the world then. So I don't want to live in a world where punching Nazis is not okay. And if you're behind a Nazi but you don't share their ideology, then you're just collateral damage, baby. Get out of the way. All right, now I'll be at O'Brien's. I'll be at O'Brien's Carolwood from 2 to 5 with Ian Beckles and Jerica. It's the O'Brien's official kickoff football party, and it's a buffet, Budweiser products, grab bag, 50-50 raffles, all for a small fee that goes to help the kids with the Buccaneers Foundation. There'll be many past bucks and present.
Can I order a la carte so I don't have to do a buffet?
I
don't like touching food that's been touched.
Your wings are on me. I'll get you a la carte, my friend.
All right. We'll see. Mo, I'll come by and we'll see you a little later this afternoon. So go on to O'Brien's and support Mo and his show. You know what? That reminds me of Inglorious Bastards. You seen the movie with Brad Pitt? And he goes, "We're killing Nazis. We're killing Nazis." So, Don Miggs, tell us who this beautiful woman is in our studio. Been sitting here patiently all day.
Well, we'll talk with her after. This is a song that she and I just wrote called Endgame. Is that what we're calling it? Or
I don't know yet.
All right. Well, we wrote it yesterday, but we want to. This is brought to us by somebody. Yeah?
This is brought to us by South Tampa Dermatology. you can give them a call at 813-872-9551 or visit them on their website
And
at
they will make you this.
stderm.com.
And they will make you this talented if you go see them.
On your vocals. All right.
So we have Don Miggs playing the guitar, and wait till you hear this voice, ladies and gentlemen.
King.
It'll
Becca King.
it'll knock you off your chair, but hopefully if you're driving, it won't knock you
Let
off.
her play.
All right, we'll see how
Just
this
pumping
all
her up,
Oy vey.
pumping her up.
Ugh. Turn his mic off.
Hey. So many excuses, I make up so many of them. I'm feeling stupid, hiding my stains like the cigarettes. Stop while you're ahead, I'll just get under your skin. You'll never understand why, 'cause I won't let you in. Ooh, it don't matter what you do. Ooh, even if you make it through. Ooh, won't be worth the wait. I'll keep on saying, yeah, I'll keep on saying, we don't want the same thing. In the end game, we don't want the same thing. In the end game, there's no use complaining. In the end game, it don't matter what you want. We don't want the same thing. I'm not good at this. I don't like this conversation. I'm radio silent, got issues with all confrontation. I'm sorry you want me, I'm really not trying to go. Maybe one day I'll grow up, but then maybe I won't. Ooh, it don't matter what you do. Ooh, even if I fall for you. Ooh, won't be worth the wait. I'll keep on saying, yeah, I'll keep on saying, we don't want the same thing. In the end game, we don't want the same thing. In the end game, there's no use complaining. In the end game, it don't matter what you want. We don't want the same thing. In the end game, in the end game, in the end game, we don't want the same thing. Yeah. We don't want the same thing. In the end game, we don't want the same thing. In the end game, there's no use complaining. In the end game, it don't matter what you want. We don't want the same thing.
Every
There
time,
you go.
Every time somebody that comes in, I just realize how talentless I.
100%.
I mean, it just.
So how about she's like 5'2",
Yeah.
this little
I'm
button of a
literally
girl.
5 foot.
5 foot.
5 foot.
And she has that big voice.
Big voice.
So
Wrote that just for me. Is really
Just
sweet of
for
you
you.
guys. I
Well.
appreciate it.
You mean a lot to us.
So you've been in the industry for only 21 years old for
Yeah.
6 years, 5 years,
Yeah.
and where are you in your career now? Are you signed with a label? Have you been signed to a label? And just give us a brief,
A little
sort of-
brief situation.
Yeah, a little brief summary. What's going on?
So I signed a publishing deal when I was 17, and just been writing for other artists since then. And just kind of, I mean, I had a few projects as an artist, but now kind of shaping my solo project.
So when you look at, obviously, if you're listening, you don't know the music, but writing a song is a pretty good deal because you get paid up front. You get paid from record one. An
Yes.
artist doesn't because they have to recoup all the money that has been put into the project. But do you ultimately want to be an artist? I
Yeah.
mean, ultimately want to be out there and not write music for other people? Both?
Both, yeah. I mean, there's an outlet as a writer that I get. Like if I love to write songs that I would not necessarily love to put out for
Mhm.
myself. So that's awesome.
What
And then-
when you say so you put it when you write a song, you write more pop songs for
Yeah.
pop artists?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of different influences. So not always straight pop, but I think it all.
Who are some of your favorite influencers?
We're just talking about this. There's so many of them. Like artists that I like right now, or
And
just in
Ever.
general.
Mhm. Like who inspires you?
I mean, the Beatles, obviously.
Favorite Beatle album?
I can't.
Okay.
I can't. But then at the same, I mean, I grew up with Shania Twain and Green Day and Leanne Rimes and I don't know. I mean, but I love artists like The Weeknd and Ariana Grande.
Okay, so you got the wide.
It's literally so much. It's so hard to narrow it down.
Have you written any smashes or have you written for any songs for any really big artists?
Not that have come out yet.
Yet.
I have some stuff overseas in Korea that are doing well, and then stuff out here that hasn't come out yet. But next time you have me on here.
All right.
Not yet.
You'll.
How can people find you, follow you, like you, listen to you, check you
out?
So,
Instagram and everything is Becca is Music, BECCAIS Music.
Okay.
Spelled normally.
Okay.
And yeah.
You have a YouTube channel? Do you have?
Actually, not really.
Okay.
I have to. I mean, I do. But
so
I don't use it.
Well, that's the thing. I feel like Instagram now, and now you can do like a minute worth or however long.
I don't think there's a limit on it anymore.
No.
Also, the thing that Becca does that is so appealing. So I write with people, out in LA,
How did you
especially.
guys connect?
A manager did a
okay.
writing session, and then I just really liked writing with her.
Yeah.
And I thought that she had an opportunity to have her voice because I heard what she was, the way that she thinks and writes, and she's a magnificent writer. I mean, like a great writer.
Yeah,
well, I mean, those lyrics, and for
are
21, I don't know the kind of heartbreak or love or whatever that you've been through, if there's been any real strife in your life, but I feel that you connect with. You seem to be that type of person that you get it, whatever it is.
Right.
You
and
can relate.
Real understanding of melody and structure. And that's what's different. That's what separates her from all the people that are trying to do the same thing. She doesn't have a YouTube. It isn't like, check out my version of Closer I did Thursday. It's like her deal is like, how about check out these 30 awesome songs I wrote? And the only reason why you don't know them all is because they haven't come out. But she's written 30 smashes, right? So, and I feel like she and I have written a couple already that are great songs. The world hasn't heard them yet, but she's signed and she has the right stuff going on. So
who are you signed to?
Well, my
publishing deal.
Yeah, Warner.
When you go out and do your own solo project, being a writer for other artists, would you be open if let's say you get signed to a label, not a publishing deal, but a record deal, and they say they want to do co-writes? Would you be open to somebody else co-writing with you?
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Some artists are, a little.
No, as long as I'm a part of it.
Right.
I don't.
As long as it's
don't think I could imagine
somebody handing you
that
and singing that.
I don't.
And she's great about a lyric. Like if I write something and it's the right lyric and it works. Then like today we're gonna what was it? I came up with this thing I wanted to write about called.
Don't say it because
how great Ben Swig is.
Yeah.
It's called the Ben Swig song.
Yeah, and then I was like, that's so dope.
Oh,
Let's use it. I don't have any. I'm like very open, but
I've always wanted a song written about me. Maybe I'll hire you to write me a song.
Sounds good.
Hey Ben, we're not going to get really to football. Can we do that next week?
We can't.
Can we get your son on?
Yeah, we can get Asher on, and it's. I'm so excited. I get really excited this time of year. Joanne was even explaining that she's getting excited.
I'm very
Wait,
excited.
am I going to be a commission? What is it that you're having me be?
Okay, so you are going to be
Can I see my phone and know if I'm available?
commissioner.
You just called me Joanne, by the way. That was
for
weird.
the Bone Fantasy League.
I am.
Yes. Which
do I have to show up?
You have to show up, and you have to, you have to do very little work. But
that's good for me.
It's important for the show. And so Joe, why excited? I mean, you're not typically a huge football fan. What changed?
Well, I mean, I am, but I don't necessarily get into the semantics of it. But I've always enjoyed football.
Okay, but why this year are you?
I don't
so
know.
Excited? Are you excited about Are you a Bucks fan?
Not overt, not crazy,
okay.
but
so it doesn't have anything to do with Hard Knock or.
But that's, I think, helped kind of get me more excited that there's been more hype around the team, and that I think that it's going to be a good season for them. I really do.
For the Bucks?
Yeah.
I don't.
That's, what I love about that sort of mentality. I used to coach Little League, and when my team, like when we were just practicing and you're playing each other, I'd be like, oh my God, this team is actually really, really good. And then you'd play anyone else like, oh no, we're terrible. I think the Bucks, they're gonna struggle this season. I think they're not going to have the kind of season. But right now, as they're getting themselves going, they're like, hey, the guy throws the ball and he looks pretty good. Everyone's going to
I'm not saying I don't see them in the Super Bowl.
All right,
but
go on.
I don't think that they're going to be as terrible as they were last year.
You got a prediction on the season?
No. That's it.
10 and
They're just
6
not going to
sort
be
of
as
thing?
terrible as last year.
Okay. Well, Ben, I'm excited for next week. We can dedicate most of the show to that and Game of Thrones, and then just Becca coming in and doing songs. About 2 hours of
So
music.
great. We will be at the Punch Out, Mike Kelta's Punch Out next Friday night at Janice.
Yeah.
That'll be a lot of fun. I'm very excited about that.
Go say hi to Juice, the JoJo.
Yeah.
and Juice.
I
and Ben
can't.
Swig.
I'm just going to see if Hobby's going to throw a punch.
He should.
I just he's in a no-win situation.
I disagree. I completely disagree.
Hold on. I know we got to leave, but hold on. Here's what I'm going to say. If he loses, he lost to a girl, and he's going to get ripped on. If he punches and knocks out a girl, he's a guy who's hit a girl and knocked out a girl.
Anyone want to bet money that guy swings at her?
Okay, but I don't understand. If I am knowingly going into the ring with him,
it doesn't matter.
I don't know why. To me, I don't. As a girl,
Hey, have you seen the Ray Rice
We may
video?
have to take this fight off the air.
Have you
Ladies
seen the
and
Ray
gentlemen,
Rice
these two are
video?
going to keep going at it, but this is the
She
Migs and
didn't
Swig
ask
show.
for
You
it.
be good to
She
each
didn't
other.
ask for it.
Be
If
good to
you're
yourself.
going, ask
We will
for
see you
it.
next
There's
week on the
nothing good
Migs and
about-
Swig show.